everybody, I'm Rosa with Game Nerdz, and welcome to another episode of Painted. I love painting minis, and I love talking about painting minis. I've got other painting tutorials that I've posted on our YouTube channel, so be sure to peep those later. Today, I'll be talking about one of my favorite methods of miniature painting, dry brushing. Dry brushing is one of, if not the easiest methods when it comes to painting a miniature. This method is also a fantastic way to get OSL, or object source lighting effect, in case you want to make it seem like something on your mini is glowing and casting its light onto the surrounding area. It's minimal effort for maximum results, which makes dry brushing one of my favorite techniques to share with beginning painters. Speaking of paint, Game Nerdz sells a lot of it. Citadel Paints has the added benefit of selling pots, specifically labeled as dry paint, which means the paint is formulated to behave in a way that gives you the best outcome. But truly, almost any acrylic paint can work. The trick is to have good control over the quantity of paint left on your brush before it gets to the mini. Which brings me to brushes. Game Nerdz has those too. Citadel and Army Painter both provide fantastic options in a range of sizes. Army Painter and Citadel's synthetic brushes are on the softer side, whereas Citadel's ox hair synthetic blended brush is a little bit stiffer. Either one will work, it just comes down to personal preference. Army Painter also has dry brushes that have been cut at an angle to help you get to those hard to reach places. I personally like to keep a variety of dry brushes in my arsenal because not all minis are the same. Makeup brushes, even just dollar store eyeshadow brushes, work surprisingly well. Regardless of what brush you use, the most important thing is to make sure they're clean and dry before you start painting. Now, while some painting techniques call for precise and focused details, dry brushing is kind of brutal. Of all the painting techniques I've talked about so far, dry brushing is the least gentle. It's not uncommon to wear out these brushes very quickly. You can choose to replace your brush as soon as stray hairs appear, or simply trim the flyaways to shape it back out. Another helpful tip to maintaining your brushes is to wash them after painting, or by using a moisture pad between colors. Also, using higher quality brushes can mean longer lifespans and softer finishes. Dry brushing is a unique method. You've got a dry brush, for starters, and the paint that you do put on it is mostly getting wiped off first. Typically, people use paper towels to do this, and with good reason. Paper towels usually have a bit of texture themselves, which helps catch excess paint. They're also absorbent, so they keep the mess to a minimum, but that absorbency can work against you sometimes. Paper towels can sometimes pull too much water from the paint. If your minis have ever looked weirdly chalky after dry brushing, that's usually why. So if you're interested in alternatives, you can use a texture palette like I am today. Stay tuned until the end of the video, and I'll teach you how to make a texture palette at home. We've slowly built up this mini from the beginning, first by priming, then base coating, then in the latest video, layering, and showing the steps we took to achieve this look, a green cloak. I want a little extra visual appeal though, and I wanted to add some dynamism to the cloak. Dry brushing can definitely help me out here. Dry brushing works by running the edge of your brush over the mini, typically only hitting the topmost points, which is perfect because that's typically where these tiny details appear. You can see it in frayed edges, loss of color closest to the seams from wear and tear, the highest points being closest to a light source, etc. You don't need a lot of paint to do it. In fact, when you're removing excess paint, you'll take off about 90% of what you picked up and put the remaining 10% on the miniature. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it shows up in a big way. So be sure to pick colors that complement your layers. Don't lay your paint on too thick. Be sure to clean your brushes, and you're good to go. Now we have our mini, so let's apply what we've learned. If you have any questions about what you see, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. time for that bonus hack. Now you've seen me rocking a texture palette throughout the video, so I'm going to show you how to make one for yourself. Making them is easy. For example, I recycled an old wet palette lid and filled it by gluing down random terrain, Warhammer bits that I didn't mind parting with, Crisis Protocol sprues, and some duds from my 3D printer. Really, all that matters is that your palette has a super uneven surface. With this palette, you not only see if you've offloaded enough paint, but also what your paint will look like once it's on your MIDI. And it won't get chalky by having its moisture leached by a paper towel. I've put links in the description for tools mentioned in today's video. Go check them out. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future painting videos with me, Rosa. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.